Hey, howdy, everybody. Woo! It is a terrific Tuesday. Welcome to Rio Rancho, New Mexico, Galloping Goat Ranch, home of the happiest goats you ever did see in the history of the universe. What a day it's going to be. Guys, I'm so excited. Today is the day. Woo! We are going to have a live duo live. Dual live. With Mommy Farmer. Hot diggity dog. Victoria. Good to see you. Hey, Futz. Claire's coming, Ben. Claire's coming. She's bringing your bottle. Don't you worry. Yeah. Yeah, don't you worry, buddy. Oh, good to see everybody. Leaping Leopard Lizard Lover. Cindy, good to see you. Dragonfly, Tracy, howdy. Thanks for following. Good to see y'all. Seafoth. Spanna, Samantha, howdy. Sheila from New Jersey. There you are. We're going to invite Mommy Farmer on in about 15 minutes. Give people a chance to get on. Can't wait for folks to meet her. I'm excited about meeting Mommy Farmer. What a deal. Hot diggity dog, good to see y'all. Howdy from Los Angeles, my lady, howdy, good to see you. Hi everybody, Cowboy Max. Welcome, good to see y'all here. It is Tuesday, May 4th, right? I can't believe it's already May 4th, unbelievable. Tallahassee, Alabama, good to see you. Evie 1973, good to see you. Dragonfly, I saw that last night. I was watching my ladies live last night, and I saw that you're one of her moderators. Outstanding. Thanks for being here. Thanks for helping out with that. That is so cool. We're going to invite Mommy Farmer on here in about, probably about T-minus 13 minutes. Hot diggity dog. Karen Bignell, good to see you. Before we get started, hey, folks, if you haven't already, you've got to listen to the latest podcast. It is episode 19 of More Riveting Conversation in the greatest podcast in the history of the universe, Living the Goat Life. You can search it on Spotify or on Anchor, the Anchor app, Living the Goat Life. We interviewed Cindy. Yep, Cindy Young, our very own crazy crew member, all the way out in South Carolina. It was a little touchy, it was touch and go. She's on the beach in her bikini, and she just didn't really want to get on with us right away. So she just kind of hem-hawed a little bit. Just kidding. We had some technical difficulties. The last two podcasts, we've had technical difficulties. One with Karen, and then that last one with Cindy. But we got it all figured out. It is. Karen, you got to listen to it. You got to listen to your own podcast. I'm telling you, it was good. Good times, yes. And so the wifey tells me that we will be recording in the history of the universe. We'll be recording that this evening, as my understanding. So, Dragonfly, thanks for subscribing to it on Google Podcasts. That's right. Thank you. I struggle to know where it's all broadcast, what all the different platforms that it's out there. So it's really cool. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. Karen says the common difficulty or the common factor in all the technical difficulties is Cowboy Max. That's probably true. That is very probably true. Steve, good to see you. Cindy, best podcast in the universe. Hot diggity dog. What up? Did you bring the bottles? No. Oh, I didn't think so. I didn't bring them either. And Futz is right here yelling at us. And I told him you were coming. You just let him down. It's all Claire's fault. She was supposed to bring the bottles for Futz and for Lammy. I know. Look at him. He's like, Claire, where are the bottles?
Okay, we'll go get them.
Okay.
Take the Futz back.
Poor Futz. I've been telling. He's like, it's fine.
I'll be back.
Whose favorite coffee is the Grumpy Goose?
Yeah, Nick wants to know who thinks Grumpy Goose is their favorite coffee. Because look at him. Nick is like, he's not a big coffee drinker, but he goes everywhere now with a coffee mug.
Nick loves
He's full of the
I
Grumpy
like-
Goose.
I like the Grumpy Goose without creamer, and I don't.
Yeah, and Claire doesn't like coffee without creamer.
She drinks. She's one of the people who drinks creamer with her coffee.
Oh, but I don't.
Coffee with her creamer, yeah, yeah.
I don't even drink coffee though, so it's not like I usually have it. Okay, come on. You're making me sad.
Thanks, Steve. Grumpy Goose is definitely the greatest coffee in the universe. If you're just getting in and you're tuning in, folks, we're just kind of stalling a little bit, seeing the beautiful sights. I know she's coming. She's coming. We're going to invite Mommy Farmer onto the live here pretty soon. Huh, buddy? I'm sorry. She was supposed to bring it. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. Oh my goodness. Right, farm girl? I agree with that. Yeah, you know, no creamer needed in the Grumpy Goose. Pretty darn good stuff. I know, Futz. Poor little guy. Let me say hi. Howdy, howdy, everybody. So, we are in Rio Rancho, New Mexico, on Galloping Goat Ranch. This is our ranch. We raise a myriad of different animals, but our primary deal is we raise goats. We have over 250 goats. We have our first backyard grazing job coming up this week for the season. So we raise our goats for contract grazing. That means folks hire the goats to eat their weeds, vegetation management, and then fire management. So it's pretty exciting. The season, we've had a little bit of rain lately. The weeds are starting to grow, so people are looking in their backyards like, oh boy, I don't want to be out there breaking my back pulling weeds on a Saturday afternoon when I can be barbecuing and drinking lemonade, you know? So that's what our goats are for. That's what the goats are for. And I did get word from Todd. He did tell me that they do have, he does have it's called Memorandum of Agreement in hand. He has to get one more signature from Santa Fe. And so anyway, we should be getting down into the forests along the rivers soon with the goats. That's a big deal because our fire season has already started here in New Mexico. And so big deal to have our stuff, to have our goats down there working on fire control for sure. For sure. So, yes, Mommy Farmer is awesome. So we are going live with Mommy Farmer in 7 minutes. T-7. I told her I'd invite her in at 11:15, and that would be the goat. That's going to be awesome. So we are going to get to know Mommy Farmer a little bit. She's got an amazing farm up there, and amazing animals, does some great things. So I'm excited about that. I am pumped. Good to see everybody. Oh, yeah, I do love her videos. Mommy Farmer's got some great chore videos that she does every day. They're pretty awesome. So she's got a whole pile of different animals, kind of like we do. Fire, yeah, you're exactly, Jamie, for fire control. So the goats have been proven kind of across the country. Now, we're not the only people doing this. Kind of all across the country, but especially in the Southwest and the West, massive herds of goats and sheep are being hired and used to go out into the forest lands and prairie lands to eat down forage to get rid of a lot of that fuel that could be dangerous for forest fires. It's all that lower lying undergrowth that creates such a tinderbox and provides the fuel for really dangerous fires. So this area that we're getting ready to go to soon is right on the edge of a massive fire what was that? Sorry. Anyway, right on the edge of a forest fire that happened in 2011 that was burned about 350 acres and burned so hot that it killed the soil, so nothing's growing back. And that's the place where we're going in to both eat near that so that we don't have that problem again. And then we have to go back and we will be on the burn area because now just the weeds are going back. And the weeds, the tumbleweeds, when they come back and then they dry up, a whole nother fire hazard. So the goats, they got a big job ahead of them. We're excited about that. Ooh, folks, T-minus 5 minutes before we get Mommy Farmer on. We're just letting a few people get on. I know everybody's working their schedules around their schedule. What is up, goats? You little goats. Hey, Stacy, good to see you this morning. Howdy, howdy, howdy. It is uh-oh, I gotta move. There it is. Finicky in this area. I just have to watch the freezing, right? Ohio gal, howdy, howdy, good to see you. See if we can get over here and see if anybody's in the bus. What's going on in the bus, guys? Dirty windows in the bus. Somebody's sleeping up here. Yeah, we've got sleepers in the bus. Looks like Judy is the bus monitor. We need to clean those windows. What's happening, little Tammy? Thanks, Cindy. I appreciate it. Uh-oh. All right, I got to get to a different place. That way when we invite Mommy Farmer in, we're not having problems. Right? Hi, Regie Addis. Good to see you. What's up, Chunk? Big Chunk. I think we're close to having a name for this one. That's Brenda's baby. Huh. What's happening? Yeah, what's up, sweetie? Hi. That's right, Sin. Technical difficulties. That's my life. That's how I live. Technical difficulties. Yeah. Okay. All right, we're going to do it. Let's see if we can invite Mommy Farmer in. Are we ready? Let's see. Mommy Farmer right there. Hot diggity dog. We're inviting. Let's see how it goes. Hey, there she is.
Ouch, let me go out to ours.
Wait a minute, we've got technical difficulties.
I was hoping you knew how to do this because I sure don't.
Well, we'll figure it out together.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Rebecca. Thanks for being on our
You
live.
as well.
It's fantastic. Looks like it's raining there.
It was, now it's not, and I think it's going to become delayed. So we will see. We need it though.
Yep, the rain is a good thing unless you're trying to get something done.
Jealous of your blue skies, but I know my garden.
Yeah, we got some good skies. Yeah, we got some good skies today. It's supposed to be in the 80s. It's going to be fantastic.
Nice.
Oh man, so we're so excited to see you. Hey, I want to introduce you to somebody.
Hi.
This is my daughter Claire.
Hi.
I love you. I've been watching you for so long, and I think you're the coolest. So, trust me, they know I'm such a fan. I'm like, look what Mommy Farmer posted.
She's always telling me how I just don't match up to you.
No, I don't say that. No, but since like for a long time, I've been like, look at Mommy Farmer.
She was the one that told me. She's like, Dad, do you follow Mommy Farmer? I'm like, I don't know.
About you.
This was like after a week of being on TikTok, and I'm like, I don't know.
And then one time you commented on one of his videos, and I like ran to his room. I'm like, Mommy Farmer commented on
It's so funny because I get that way over other people because I probably reacted that way whenever you started following me. It's so funny to see everybody kind of fans out on each other and don't even realize it.
Totally. Yep, totally. And there's Nick, Cowboy Nick.
Hi. He's
a
Hi.
major fan too.
I'm so jealous of your grown help on the farm.
Right?
I need my kids to be older to help me.
They finally got to where they're useful.
Yeah. Well, that's people ask a lot, like, oh, don't your kids help with barn chores? I'm like, they do, but it's more of like a teaching moment, not so much of a helping for me moment. I mean,
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
buckets will be.
there's a whole period of time there for several years where you're doing double the work to have them help you.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't help
You
that we've
never
got
had
a
to
lot
do
of
the double the
breakfast.
work with me, Dad. Come on.
I don't know, Claire. I'm thinking maybe I still have to sometimes.
Right?
Right? So Rebecca, tell us, I'm so excited to hear all about your farm and your life and everything. How long have you had the farm?
Just over 2 years. So I grew up out in the country, but we didn't have a farm just because my dad worked on a farm and he kind of went the route of like, no, I'm good. I've done enough. So I was always around the stuff, but not actually having our own. So we're only 2 years in, and I keep reminding myself that, like, give it time. It'll get there, but antsy to get more done. How long,
Well,
how long ago did you start on yours?
well, we've had this place for about 15, 16 years or so, but we've only lived here for, I think we're going on about 5 years that we've lived here, because for the longest time it was just, we just couldn't get out here. We were living in town, and then but we had been running the ranch out here. We started it out as a nonprofit. So we started as a writing program for kids in the Albuquerque Rio Rancho area, and giving kids an opportunity to get involved outdoors with agriculture, with horses, whatever it is. I've grown up my whole life being around farming and ranching. Dad was a home builder by trade, but he always had a farm or a ranch that we either we lived on it or we went to it all the time. So anyway, we had the nonprofit out here for several years, for about 10 years before we actually were able to get the house built and get moved out here. And we just recently closed the nonprofit about 2 years ago. Well, let's see, at the end of 2019. And so now it's just
goats. More
lots
goats.
and lots of goats.
All the goats.
That's when people comment, they're like, oh my goodness, you have so many goats. I'm like, we don't. Not really don't. I'm like, apparently you're not familiar with Cowboy Max if you think I got a lot of goats.
Yeah, we saw somebody say you needed to start adopting them out, and like, well, we're looking at like, well, you need like 250 more of those things.
Yeah, well, and I think it's funny because I knew we were going to keep all of them this year, but we're already talking about like next kidding season and kind of plans for it. And my husband, I think, is like, all right, who do you know that would want goats? And my kids and I are like, no, we don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, what you're talking about? We want all the goats.
Yeah.
Claire has a standing joke because we'll go. We've had to go pick up goats with the trailer.
This is a total joke.
Or do whatever it is. And anytime we pass by a place that has goats, she's like,
and we have a trailer.
We have a trailer.
I'm like, why don't we just take their goats?
We might as well stop and get their goats.
Might as well. Just go and talk to them and say, I mean, we have a trailer. Why not?
Yeah.
How many goats do you have, Rebecca?
Gosh. Okay, so I know it was 15 the last time, but let me double check that. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, yeah, so 16. I think we're at 16 right now.
That's awesome. How many of them will you breed next year?
Just so we only had one female out of our kids this year. And so let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 mamas to be.
The herd's going to get bigger, quicker.
Before you know it.
I mean, it doesn't take long, and they're just everywhere. We have 48 babies in here, and then in the other pens we have 4 more. So we got a total of 52 kids this year.
Hear Birdie sleeping.
Oh wow.
Oh wait,
is that her? Or is that
that's Sue.
I think it's
But
Sue
do you
that's
see her
making the noise.
sleeping? So cute.
Yeah. So we started.
So you've got the boars, and then what other breeds do you have in your herd?
So we have 3 primary breeds that the most, going from most to least, is we have boars, Spanish, Nigerian dwarf, and then we have a mixture of some that are alpine, some kind of La Mancha crosses, just a few just random crosses. But those are the 3 biggest ones we have, because we started our after we closed our nonprofit, we started up we'd always run a pumpkin patch, and the pumpkin patch is an offsite. We don't do it here at the ranch, but it was always a fundraiser for us. And so we set up a big pumpkin patch in town. We turned a big parking lot into a farm, essentially. And then so when we closed the nonprofit, we took that on as a family business. And then with COVID last year, the first year in 17 years, we didn't have the pumpkin patch because of the COVID restrictions. So it was like this, what do we do? Because that's kind of our source of income, and so we had actually started to sell off quite a few of our animals, and then we just got to talking. We're like, hey, we should rent our goats out. Claire and Nick came up to me and said, hey, we ought to go and see if people will hire the goats to go eat weeds and such. And so we started doing that last summer, and it went off pretty well. So we didn't have near enough goats, so we went out and got more, and so we're excited. We're about to start a big government contract, we think, pretty soon.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're doing fire control, eating undergrowth, brush, and small trees and stuff, so that to cut down on the fuel for forest fires. And then our grazing season starts on Friday. We've got a backyard job starting on Friday, so
that's nice. That's when people comment on those sort of jobs. People will bring up, like, oh, I bet you don't have to mow your yard. I'm like I said, I don't have that many. Yeah. I need to mow this whole area because they don't keep up with it at all. And they're little guys.
You were both blessed and cursed with a whole lot of rain and a whole lot of grass, right?
Yep, exactly. And we just need a fence. I need more and more areas to fence off. That's the goal. So I have less and less to mow.
You got it. You just need more goats. More goats.
I know. Yes. All of the above.
I just saw the barn in the background, and I have to say I have barn envy. I love your barn. How old is the barn?
It's 1860s. I actually have a guy coming out here right whenever we're wrapping up this, a construction guy coming. It's been long overdue. I've been so antsy to have somebody start telling me, give me a number of what are we looking at on restoring this thing. So because I kind of went backwards.
You went backwards, you said?
I went backwards on getting animals before the barn is fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm not putting anybody in harm's way, but is it completely rickety and kind of a mess? Yes.
Well, I saw that you're about to do maybe, what is it, a GoFundMe deal for the barn?
Yeah, I hesitated because I just, sometimes you get backlash on that sort of thing, but so many people have been incredibly supportive. So it kind of encouraged me that, we're trying to use it to be able to give back to the community anyway and be more of a in the community. So.
Well, you do a lot of, it sounds like you do, or you're gearing up to do quite a few events at the farm, right?
Yeah, we actually have a Girl Scout troop coming this evening that I'm excited about. And I hosted my daughter's Girl Scout troop not too long ago. So it's just kind of smaller events right now. That's why it's fun to see people like you on here. I feel like you're kind of what we're working toward, especially the pumpkin patch and just being able to do more with what we have.
Yeah, we are fortunate. And that's one of the reasons I want to ask you in a minute. I guess since I'm going to ask you, I'll tell you my story with TikTok and how I got onto TikTok. But part of what we've always done, we've been fortunate to be able to have this kind of thing, and for me to grow up in the agricultural world, and I think it's so valuable. That's Brenda. She's always yelling for her baby. There. Thank you, Brenda. Always screaming. Anyway, so she found her baby. So I've just always felt like I really benefited from it growing up. My kids really benefited from it. And so if we could in some way get people, because we're, the Albuquerque area is a little over 1 million people in the metro area. And so many of those folks have no idea, have never been around farm life, ranch life, anything like that. And so if we could do something to be able to help along with that, that's kind of what we did. And so that's how we started our nonprofit. We got kids involved with horses. So for the longest time, for I want to say 7 or 8 years, we didn't charge. We set up a schedule and it got booked. I mean, we were booked all summer long with families and kids coming out, and we would just get them involved with horses. And then over time, it's funny because we actually rescued a handful of goats and realized that the kids and goats really did well together. And so we actually really transitioned our whole thing pretty quickly to more of a really hands-on farm kind of experience and got kids involved in 4-H. So for many years we had several hundred kids and families out here all summer long, and it was a lot of fun. So it was just kind of, we closed that down, and then last year we took on the pumpkin patch, and that was another way to give back to the community. And then when we knew that we weren't going to be able to have the pumpkin patch, it's like, well, oh boy, now what do we do? And that was really when the kids kind of told me, and I'd been seeing some other people on social media. They're like, you should get on TikTok. I'm like, I don't even know what TikTok is at the time.
Yeah.
And you had just said that about you being nervous about doing the
funding or the GoFundMe.
Yeah, on your barn. And it's amazing to me. We've seen it with our people, what we call the crazy crew. The giving nature and the positive nature about people and the community that is out there is unbelievable. I mean, I've been blown away. I'm blown away every day. I mean, just the fact that somebody's going to sit here and watch us talk to each other, it's crazy.
I know. Exactly. I had joined TikTok more or less in the beginning. It was just because, the life where we don't leave this very much at all. I mean, unless if it's just going to Tractor Supply or the grocery store, it's like my life. I'm really, quarantine didn't change our lives a whole lot.
True.
And because that's my life. So, because of having so much isolation, it was just for me, I wanted to connect with other people, and kind of get away from the typical Facebook stuff. And then it was like, well, shoot, I'll go ahead and post some random goat stuff and random things being silly. And then just kind of, you never really expect it to do any. I never got on here thinking like, I got to have followers. Like the influencer thing, I never really paid any attention to it. I thought that was mostly like putting on different outfits and trying to look cute. And that's kind of what that was. So,
well, and you and I kind of messaged back and forth, because I think you had put out a little information about eggs, and all of a sudden you were the expert on eggs, but then everybody in the world debated that with you, and it was a mess. It's like, it's just an opinion, right?
It's just
and that's what's hard is I would love to do more just random small bits of education, but I've always been really hesitant to do that on here, because it really does bring out the like animal Karens of the world, of everybody wanting to correct you and that sort of thing. And so I use my events, like I can be able to teach people within my community, but I don't do as much of it on here, more because I just don't even want to get into the the mess of all that.
it's a great place just to do fun stuff and be positive, and your videos are just that. Your daily videos that you do, it's just with the animals and the corgis, and it's just one of those things that it's nice to see every day. It's refreshing, it's relaxing, it's fantastic. So
It's
you've
definitely
been talking a lot
entertaining.
about the dreams for your place. What kind of things what are you dreaming up?
I mean, the big thing right now, and the whole point of this guy coming to look at the barn is our hayloft right now is completely unusable, and it's this big, huge space that I don't necessarily want to store hay in because it's just so beautiful that I would like to have that restored and be able to have like an antique shop, but also like home decor and feature local artists and be able to sell anything that we make on our farm there and just have it be kind of a cute little shop that people could come and check out and also, meet the animals while they're here and just a little like small stop outside of Kansas City where people can visit and I don't know. I don't know what to compare it to because I don't really know anything like it, but that's kind of why I like the idea.
Yeah, that's it's very authentic. I mean, there's a lot. I think there's plenty of people that do things with their barn, but to use the barn for what you normally do, and then your loft is converted into something.
Yeah.
That's a pretty novel idea. I think that is awesome.
Because originally I was stuck on the idea of hosting like outdoor tea parties, and you just come across a lot of different roadblocks with I have big dreams, big ideas, and when you're trying to put them into fruition and get the logistics set out for it all, you come across roadblocks. And I'm just the type of person, it sounds like you are too, where you just pivot instead of throwing your hands up in the air. And so I learned quickly, like having animals down below, we really couldn't do much in regards to having it be like an event space because of like food permitting and all that. But it's like, well, I mean, I'm not getting rid of the animals. Like I gotta have animals.
Right.
Because people talk about us hosting weddings, and I think it's a nice idea. It's just not for me.
Yep.
So trying to find what works for me and what sparks my interest.
You bet. Just trying to fit all of those things that, like you said, it's not too much friction for you, but you also enjoy it, and it works with everything else you've got with your family, with your animals, with the property, the whole deal. It's a challenge, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I tell you what, yeah, I guess, it's good to be busy, but it's definitely a stage of life that I hope I look back on and think like, man, how did I do it? Because having little kids, trying to start a business, dealing with all of this
Yes,
essentially on my own it's a handful.
that is a handful. We've got to really. My hat is off to you because I know how much work it is, and to both you and your husband, because you're both working your tails off,
Yeah.
to make it all work. And so, major kudos to you and your family for doing all that. That is awesome. That is awesome. We know how it goes. We
Yeah.
started this. We started our nonprofit and this ranch and plenty of other things when they were just little bitty things, and it's a challenge. I mean, for
Yeah.
lugging them around in strollers and car carriers and trying to sell pumpkins and trying to ride horses and doing all those things. It's
Yeah.
something, but
It sounds
they
like
do get bigger. I promise.
And
They do.
then they never leave.
Well, this one never leaves.
Yeah.
Well,
I still got
I mean, I'm kind of counting on that. My little guy, he's 4, and he says a lot right now that like, Mama, I want the farm, and we joke about the land next to us. I was like, all right, well, you can take the farm, and I'll build a little house next door, and you can
Yeah.
take over. I'm like, just don't change your mind in the next 20 years, please.
That takes a lot of planning, so you can't just change in the middle of it.
Yeah.
We've got
Or it
so
doesn't help that.
you've got the two
Oh,
kids, right? Your son and your daughter,
yeah,
right? Yep. We've got
yeah.
4. I have my oldest. She's on here. I think I saw her. Hi, Brooke. Love you, babe. She's up in Colorado, and she's the oldest of the bunch. She lives on a ranch with her boyfriend Josh up there, and she's getting ready to start up a grazing business. These two just took a load of goats up to her, a couple of weeks ago, right? Yeah. And so she's about to start her grazing business up there. I've got a son in college. He's out in Michigan. He's on the track team at Eastern Michigan. And then she just finished her freshman year at college. And then I've got a freshman in high school. He's in the house. he's in front of the computer at school, basically. So,
yeah. That's awesome.
You've got a whole pile of different animals. You were talking the other day about, and because everybody always asks you, what animal is next? Do you have new animals in mind?
I'm like, I don't know if I don't think my husband's on here because he works the night shift. So
we're gonna get you in trouble.
He doesn't know I was reaching out to some people this morning. But it's got to be the right animal. So it's really just if I find the right one. So it's not like I have one particular one, like, oh, I've got to have this, but I've been browsing for miniature donkeys.
Miniature.
I found a little guy and he's so cute. It's one of those things that they were like, oh, we have somebody already interested, but we'll let you know. And I'm already like heartbroken and I haven't even met the little guy.
Yeah. They are cute. Man, they're cute.
But we're hoping to I really want to add a herd of sheep. I'm very intrigued about, the textiles and that whole aspect of things. And I joke that I need to have an animal that really does something more for us than be cute and adorable and eat everything.
Instead of just eating everything. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. We've been talking about it a bunch, and we're really glad that the grazing season is about to hit because right now we're feeding close to 1,000 pounds of hay every day with all the animals and the goats. And we're talking about our TikTok communities. Every week we do a Thankful Thursday, and we road trip down to the feed store. And every week our crazy crew I've got it in my profile. They do it online. They buy hay for all the goats and all the animals. It's unbelievable.
Oh, that's awesome.
It is. It is unbelievable.
It gives you faith in everybody. How incredible. It's really easy to focus on all the junk going on or people being, hateful or drama happening. But I'm always really blown away, like with how incredible everybody is on here and how much they really will like help each other out whenever the opportunity arises.
Yeah, it seems to me as a platform that, like you said, you'd mentioned some of the other ones, and some of them have gotten pretty bad over the years. And this one is, for now, is remaining really positive and a lot. There's, like you said, there's a lot of community aspect to it, and that's exciting. Hopefully it stays that way.
Yeah, I see it. I feel like in the last year, I've noticed some shift, and it's hard to tell. I know whenever I started gaining more popularity, there was more junk to kind of deal with, but I remind myself that there's more good than bad. So you just kind of have to keep moving past the.
Absolutely. Yeah. You have I think 1.2 million followers, whatever it is. And there's maybe a handful of that 1.2 that maybe causes a little stress, and the rest of the people are unbelievable. And so that makes it all worth it for sure. For sure.
Yeah. Everybody decided to make a run for it. It's like they're all excited about. You're talking about having a trailer. I need to get a trailer just to do the picking up random stuff I see on the side of the road. I feel like such a hoarder nowadays. I'm like, oh, I want that. You got free pallets? I'll take them.
Yeah. So you're piling them in the back of the Jeep and just doing everything you can to get them there, right?
Trying to. Well, I actually was on the phone with my friend this morning because I was asking her, do you think I can put a donkey in the back of my Jeep? I feel like I could easily fit it. I mean, it's miniature. And I was like,
For sure
measuring
you
with
can.
my
I'm
hands.
telling you, if it fits, take it.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Get it.
That's whenever I had a little Subaru, and when we were first getting goats, and I was going to pick up Sarah, and my husband knew about it, and so I brought the kids along, and before you know it, I'm going to get her too while I'm at it. Like, might as well. Well, then
You bet.
all of a sudden the people are like, well, if you're getting her, we have a couple leathers that we'll give you for free. And I'm like, yeah, I don't say no to free stuff. So
There you go.
I come back with 4 goats. I backed my Subaru up into the barn, and my husband's like, what is she doing? And I open the hatch, and all these goats come running out. And he's like, I thought you were just getting one. I'm like, it's fine.
You can't just get one. I mean,
Just get one.
if you got, like Claire says, if you got the room for it, you might as well fill up the space. Make it, like I say to everybody, you might as well make it the most efficient trip as possible. You know?
Exactly.
I saw someone say trailers are dangerous because you go for 2 and then you end up with 30, and that's true. Like, that's a big problem.
For sure. Or us, we go for, well, we come back with what, 100 plus? Yeah.
That was fun.
So everybody always asks me, and so I got to ask you, do you have a favorite animal on the ranch? Or on your farm?
Well, so Gracie's near and dear to my heart just because she's 11 years old. I had her, before kids, before married. And when we lived in Colorado, she was my hiking buddy. I believe it or not, that girl's hiked 3 14ers with me.
Wow.
And
those little legs went up 14,000
yeah,
feet.
we lost her on the mountain one time, and we had to headlamps hiking in the thick backwoods out by Vail. And but she found us, and so we've lived so much life, her and I, that she's so special to me. But
Sure.
favorite type of animal, though, it's so hard to say. I kind of want to say the pigs because it was so unexpected. Like, I was not a pig person, and it was my husband who wanted them. And they're just hysterical. I mean, it's impossible not to laugh at them. Especially Gus is just like, you can't even make up his crankiness. I don't even know. I'm looking where he disappeared. Oh, there they are.
Out in the mischief somewhere.
Yeah, I think they are just I mean, and the ducks are the type that I could sit and watch all day long out on the pond.
Your ducks are amazing. We not only do I have a barn envy, but I have pond envy. So to be able to have a pond right there, to see those ducks go down and every day is pretty fantastic. So is that? Do you have?
It's lots of skeeters out there, like a lot of mosquitoes. So
yeah, I was going to ask you if that was the case too. Do you have a little creek that feeds it?
Yeah, it's again something where when we can afford the machinery, I'd like to get it a little more going. I've just been kind of the first couple of years we were here just digging the creek out more. You couldn't even see it, so it wasn't even running. It was all just had a bunch of trash built up. It's actually off over in that little tree area. Because I'm sure you're familiar. Around here, it's common for people out in the country where they just toss their trash out somewhere, and we've been working. That first year was just kind of cleaning up this property.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah, we've got the same thing. Just right out off the property, people just pull up with their trucks and dump it all out.
Yeah,
we've got our fair share of our own trash on the place, though. That's for sure. We've got a lot of.
I know. Well, and then I used to be kind of judgmental about that stuff, but now I notice there's times when I'm like, well, something breaks, but then it's like, oh, but we probably could use it for this or this and this, and
we can use the parts and the pieces.
You start getting kind of stingy on stuff.
For sure, absolutely. Yeah, they tease me all the time because I've hoarded things for many years.
He has these shelves,
Metal.
like these metal shelves right over there. And he's like used them for many different projects. You know, he's just wherever he can put a shelf, right? And so we were building the maternity pen with the new fencing and stuff. And he's like, all right, Nick, just go throw the shelves in the dumpster so I can't use them again. And Nick was like, ooh. And we were just looking at each other like, ooh,
Are you sure?
He's going to regret that. And my dad was like, just do it. Go do it. Like, I can't get him out of here. Like, I can't be tempted. And we were like, oh, he's going to regret it. And then you put him in there, right?
Yeah. And then
and then a week, like probably 4 days later, we come out here. And he's like cutting the shelves over here. He's using the shelves again. And he's like, building a little like heat lamp section with shelves. And I was like, oh my goodness.
We're like, how'd you get those? He was like, I got them out of the dumpster.
He went and got them out of the dumpster.
Well, I didn't know I needed them until then. And then I was like,
I knew it was going to happen.
This is exactly what I needed. I mean, come on. I mean, we had to make a little area. We had to make a little area for the babies to get in the so that the moms can get in. So they can go in. I mean,
that's what's hard. It's hard to get rid of stuff when you know you can kind of reuse it, repurpose it for something else.
That's exactly right.
Bending down.
So Rebecca, how are you doing on time? Do you have a few more minutes?
I'm good. Yeah. Okay. They're not coming until about 15 more minutes.
So I thought it'd be fun real quick to run around and we could do maybe I'll show you mine if you show you yours kind of thing. So you're just talking about Gus, but before I go talk about Gus, I'm going to cruise through and show some of our goats and our babies, and maybe you can show yours at the same time, and then we'll bounce from here and we'll go see some of the others. How's that sound?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, we're gonna look.
I know. I want to see all those babies of yours because I'm jealous of all.
Well, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got them. Like I said, in this particular pen, we have 48 babies in here, and they're just all over the place. Let's see. I think we. Oh yes. So this one. She doesn't have a name yet. We have a Facebook group that for the Crazy Crew, and they get on and they're working on naming all the babies. But this little one right here, when she was born, her the ligaments in her hips and her legs hadn't fully formed, so she couldn't walk on her back legs
for about a week, right?
Almost a week. For especially 4 days. She was having to drag herself around by her front feet.
And her mom was like trying to pick her up.
Really so her mom is one of my favorite goats. She's 100. She's more than she's a fantastic little goat. And a great story about her mom. Her mom would walk, and because she couldn't stand up, so her mom would straddle her so that she could just lay there and pick her head up and nurse. And then she would actually pick up her tail. She'd bite her tail and pick her up by her back end so that she could try to stand. It's pretty amazing.
Gosh, that's crazy.
So let's see.
This is our bottle fed baby.
Oh, that's our little futz. We have 2 bottle babies on the ranch that the moms rejected. This little one is he's actually a twin, and the mom takes care of his brother really well, but she rejected him. And then we have a little lamb as well. I think I'm gonna go see if I can find. Let's go in here and hopefully we can. We've got an old bus that's been a whole lot of talk about repurposing.
That's awesome.
And let's see who's in here. We've got our bus monitors. Hello, girls. How are you? This thing has been a storage. It's been a chicken, a hen house. It has been a playhouse for actual human kids. And now it's a playhouse for our little goat kids.
That's such a fun idea. I know Simply Country Ranch has that the camper they use for their chicken coop.
Oh wow. There's Gus. I see
Does
old
it
Gus.
get very hot in there? Like, is it not that bad whenever the windows are down for,
Yeah,
I
it is
didn't know
really
how
cool.
hot.
It's really cool in here right now. So we're getting up to almost it's supposed to get up to 80 degrees today, a little over 80, but it stays cooler in here than it is out there, and warmer at the same
Yeah,
time, like when it's cold outside. So it's a pretty nice little deal for
nice.
them. Yeah,
Oh,
they love
that's
it.
perfect. Now I'm going to be on the search for all sorts of contraptions. I would love
You got to go
something
find
like
a
that.
bus.
Or I want like a green pickup truck to drive around or
Yeah, there you go.
something. Look at
Okay, I'm
how
gonna go.
cute.
Let's see some of your goats. You
Charlotte.
had a couple babies, right?
Well, I'm in the mix
Oh,
right now. We've got Gus and Charlotte both hang out. It's a big enough pen that we have them mixed in. It drives me nuts. There's no zoom capability because I see deer, the deer are hanging out right next to us, but
oh, you do have a bunch of deer there, right?
yeah. And so yeah, our mama.
And that's on your new free pallet stack, right?
Yeah. And this is another like random Facebook marketplace. My best friend is finding random stuff on there. Like this dog. We got this as a dog house, but I didn't realize at the time it had like random windows. And I'm like, well, that kind of defeats the purpose. I wanted something to block out any sort of wind. And so now we use it just to shove hay in there and it works. It keeps the hay contained a little better.
For sure.
And everybody's
That's
just kind
fantastic.
of spread out,
I
munching
love how every
around.
day you're able to go and let the goats out and or let all the animals out and they just go and roam together. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I know it eventually we'll have everybody a little more separated, but it's just as costly to add fencing, so
It is,
that's
especially
kind
with
of
the
why
way as expensive as everything is right now.
it's not I know I might be a little nervous for this guy to tell me about this restoring the barn.
Yeah, with the price of lumber right
Like
now,
this,
it's unbelievable.
keep you from trying to come out from under the door. They spot the deer, that's what but they're mad. I know, did I block the hole?
You can't come out now.
And we need I don't know if you have a barrier between your bucks, but we've learned the hard way that we need to have a second barrier between our boys and oh my goodness.
Yeah, she's gonna snore. This is what she does. Yeah,
Is
we have to
she a
keep our
coon
bucks.
or what
What's that?
what kind of position is she a coon or
She
I
is.
always
Yep,
see
she's
the
a cooney
okay.
cooney. Yep, they're super sweet. And
Yeah,
this one back here.
I love their ears. Like I just feel like
Oh, aren't they great?
they're so adorable.
They really are. Yep. So this is Laverne, and then back there is Ralphie. Ralphie his mom just passed away not too long ago, but she had a litter of 9 babies, and he's the only one that survived. She wasn't a very good mom. She rejected all of them. She squished several of them, and then that little guy, my wife actually raised, not bottle raised, but just had to raise from a baby. We had to dish raise him, so putting his milk in a dish all the time, and really hard to raise. The vet was amazed that we were able to do it, or that she was able to do it, because it's really hard to raise pigs when they're that young. I mean, on day 2, we took him away from his mom because she just rejected him completely. So he's doing pretty well now.
I don't think a lot of people realize like bottle babies, it always sounds fun in theory and it's fun maybe the first time and then after that you're for me anyway, I'm like I really don't look forward to if a mama doesn't want to take, like, we've been pretty lucky. We were not so sure about JoJo and Vern, but luckily she got a little better with taking them, because I really didn't want to add a bottle baby to my to-do list every day.
Bottle feeding is way overrated. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's
It is
fun.
a
They
ton of
do
work.
get a little more attached to you, but at the same time, that's also not always a good thing. I always got Rosie in my face.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they can be way too attached at times. For sure. So what about cows? You ever going to get yourself a cat?
I get asked that probably the most, and I just am unsure. I wouldn't be opposed to a miniature cow that wouldn't take up as much space. I worry about how much of our hay fields would be taken up by them.
Yeah, for sure.
But
do you raise and cut a lot of your own hay?
yeah, we have some fields in the front, and then a big pasture along the side of our property that I don't show a whole lot, and those get baled. And luckily we live near some hay farmers that, because we don't have the equipment to bale our own, and so they do it for us just as like a courtesy.
Right.
Which is wonderful. Like, I'm so thankful that we have that, because it's just so expensive to get equipment.
It really is tough. Yeah, for sure. And you've got the 2 miniature horses, right?
Yeah. They're a lot of fun. People ask us if we want standard, like regular size, and I'm like, it's not in the budget yet. So I don't know if I'm ready to take on. That's just it's such a whole nother world when you get into the bigger animals that I'm not quite there yet.
It really is true. Yeah, the bigger animals, the horses, everything. I mean, for one, they eat a whole lot more, but then everything you need is just bigger and more of it.
But I know my son, he really wants a cow. So maybe someday. Gus was actually his birthday present. I mean, it was kind of a big birthday present for him, but so maybe when he's older, and if he's already kind of involved in 4-H, then we'll consider that for him to be able to show.
You bet.
But
does he still hang out with Gus quite a bit?
Kinda. It's funny. They go in waves with who they give a lot of attention to, and he just randomly gets attached to certain animals, and then but yeah, Gus is kind of crankier than like he's cuddly once he's fed and he's tired, but otherwise he doesn't want to cuddle so much. And I think because my little guy's 4 years old and he's all boy running around, like, Gus wants really no part of that.
Sure.
But him and Boone are like solid best friends because of that energy.
There you go. The little boy's got to have himself a dog, right, to run around with.
Yeah. What did your kids show in 4-H?
They showed dairy steers, pigs, goats, and chickens. Yeah, and
Nice.
we had a on the nonprofit here on the ranch for several years. We had a big 4-H club, and so I think at one time we had about 75 kids in the club. And the way we did it was we actually purchased all the animals and they raised them here at the ranch because they're living in apartments or in the neighborhoods and they can't do it. So it was a lot of fun. They were able to do it all out here, and then we were able to load them all up in the trailers, take them to the county fair, and do that. It was a lot of fun.
That's so cool. I love that idea. And I love that it's kind of nice to a lot of things that I wouldn't have thought of, to try to keep that in the back of my mind whenever as we grow, of options of what we could do.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun because I mean, you're not. How far are you from Kansas City?
Like 15 miles or so, and we're a mile outside of a town of like 50,000. So we're not like out in the middle of nowhere, that's for sure. We're just outside of a good size of a suburb town, which is kind of one of the big reasons why we like this property, because from the get-go we knew we wanted it to be something where it was getting people out here and hanging out with the animals.
It's something to put in your tool belt, like you said. It is really rewarding to be able to have kids involved and their families, like you said, because not being able to be anywhere near that and is, I don't know. I've always felt like it's inherent in people that for some reason they just they want some part of a country life and be involved with animals and that kind of stuff. And they just don't get the opportunity. It's really tough.
Exactly. That's why it's nice. So we host our small events, and that's kind of helping us to get to where we're going. But anytime we're hosting stuff like Girl Scout troops, like I mentioned, stuff like that, we just kind of do it for them. It's not trying to make any sort of profit from it, because it's just a way of like trying to share what we have with everybody in our community.
You bet.
So
Yeah, for sure.
it's fun to see the kids interact.
Absolutely. Well, there's the mosquito patch, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then now it's like major. So I kind of mow down some paths, but I see Winona is thinking she's a jungle cat, and she's going to walk through all that poison ivy, and then she's probably going to come in the house and cuddle up next to my
There you
son.
go.
And then, oh,
Oh man.
it's a fun time of year when everything starts growing thick. And this is where I need some like bigger goats out here to help with this, because I'll put mine out here, but
Yeah.
you can't tell. Like, it's really those little goats just don't do a whole lot.
They won't be able to keep up with it.
No,
And those
exactly.
goats, we don't have it here, fortunately, but what I've been told by all the folks that we keep in touch with that do contract grazing is those goats really do love the poison ivy.
They love it. Yep. Yeah, which is really nice. The downside is then I'd be curious to know what those people do, because like, we cuddle our animals so much, and when
Yeah.
we're all in the thick of it, and I'm so allergic to it that I kind of am always real hesitant to have the animals running through, and
I feel
then
like they probably don't cuddle with them that much.
yeah, probably not talking to their animals and
Right.
all up in their faces.
Right. Not a whole lot of lap goats and lap sheep in their deal. Oh
It's
man. Well, I
always
tell you,
it's
go ahead.
oh go No, I was just gonna say it's always funny to me whenever people will, they think you're doing something just for the TikTok, and then I always laugh with my husband. I'm like, if they only saw before I even joined TikTok, that I'd be really showing my crazy colors.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. A bunch of crazy animal people for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Rebecca, I really appreciate you spending the time showing us around. It's great to meet you. I want to just say that really appreciate you as a positive person out there, showing fun, positive things and happy stuff. And really appreciate that about what you do.
No, you as well. I feel like we all kind of have to just stick together and just keep doing what we're doing, and being a point of that for other people, because I know a lot of my followers enjoy, I feel like we have so much overlap, because people can see the authenticity of it all.
For sure, for sure. Well, I wish you tremendous luck, and I know you have. I know you sell merchandise, so I wish you luck with that. Wish you a ton of luck with your barn restoration. I hope your GoFundMe deal goes really well, and you're able to get that all done. I hope the sticker shock today is not too much.
I know.
Oh,
But thank
we're in the
you,
middle of
and
projects too.
I'm sure it's never ending. So I'm excited to hear how all of your stuff goes this summer with the new contracts and stuff. So I'll be following along. All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Thank you so much. Take care. Have a goat day. Bye.
You too. Bye.
That was a good time. Great to meet Mommy Farmer, and hope you, like I said, I hope you enjoyed it. She's got a beautiful place. Oh my goodness, the trees, the grass, the bushes, the water, unbelievable, and beautiful animals. Super fun, super fun. So I tell you what, I'm worn out from smiling. I'm tired. I had to do all of Claire and Nick's work this morning because they were lazy and in bed, and no. So guys, I hope everything is great. We'll be back live tomorrow. Oh, news. We did not, the shearer for the alpacas didn't come today. He called during the 6:30 live, and I couldn't answer it then, but his truck wouldn't start this morning. And so he couldn't come to shear the alpacas. He'll be shearing tomorrow. And so I don't know what we'll do. Maybe we'll be able to do some live with that, or we'll just take video. I don't know. But sometime tomorrow he's coming. In the meantime, guys, y'all be safe. Y'all have a goat day, and go out and live your goat life.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.